Good evening, everybody. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me just flip a couple things there. Hi, everybody. I'm Diana. Welcome to Build a Quilt, where we make patchwork with the hoops of our embroidery machine. Not embroidery to look like patchwork, which is beautiful, but real, honest to goodness patchwork. Nobody will ever know what technique you used. It's not a competition. Do you use your sewing machine? Do you do it by hand? Do you do it by no? In fact, I like to call piecing in the hoop patchwork for the 21st century. New machine, new technique, but we're getting our embroidery machine to actually make actual patchwork for us. Takes care of all those pesky seams, getting them accurate, takes care of not needing a 1/4-inch foot. You just need a basic home embroidery machine and a 5x7 hoop, and that's all you need. And you can make beautiful quilts too, from small mini quilts up all the way up to the king size quilts. So that's what we're all about here at Build a Quilt. I'm going to set that over. If I keep touching my eye, I'm sorry. My eye is I've either scratched it or my allergy, which I think is what it is just driving this eye crazy tonight. It's a little bit sore, so I apologize. Hello, Kathy. Happy Wednesday to you down there in North Carolina. Hey, Kathy, do you guys have your power and all back yet? Are you still kind of having to move around and find power and stuff? I hope that it is better for you by now, but I know it isn't for everybody. So I'm still thinking about you and everybody else who have been involved in these hurricanes. Hi, T. Welcome, welcome. T's our good friend, and she's from South Carolina. So, T, I hope everything's going good with you guys weather-wise, too, because we've had a beautiful day. It is still above normal temperatures here in northeastern Illinois, and I'm just tired of it. So I'm just not even going to talk about the weather anymore until we get a beautiful true fall day. We actually are getting some beautiful color on the trees a little bit, but a lot of them are just turning brown and dropping right onto the ground, and I'm very upset about that. Hello, Ruth. How are you? From a cloudy, drizzly, and chilly Lake Stevens, Washington. That's my kind of fall day, Ruth. Oh, I love that. I know. We all talked about this last week. A lot of you love like warm Texas weather and stuff. You can have it. You can have mine. I'll send it to you because I'm so ready for fall weather. Nice and warm, 72 right now. Yeah, T, we're right there with you. And I'm in way up northeastern Illinois. It shouldn't be this warm. We should be in the 50s, like highs in the 50s, which is just perfect. Put on my sweater. I'll go outside for a nice afternoon walk. I run in the mornings when it's really cold. But in the afternoons in the fall, I like to go out for another like short walk just to get that crisp fall air in the afternoon, and we haven't had it yet. Kathy, power more stable, but still having occasional outages. Well, I'm glad it's starting to get better, Kathy, but I'm still thinking of you, my friend, and I hope that it gets back sooner rather than later, and I know you are too. So again, welcome, everybody. So glad to be with you all tonight. As you see, that's still scrolling across the bottom. I always forget to turn this banner off. Tonight, we're talking about the Quilt Along and some other stuff too. But I have the fabric information sheet for you guys. It's out on the website, and I'll tell you how to get that later at the end. But it's ready, and we're going to go through. I'm going to show you the two things, and we're going to go through the fabrics and the colors so you know exactly what we're talking about. And we'll talk about that. And then the patterns and all, I'll tell you more about those when we get to that. But tonight, to start, we always start with our memes, right? And usually they're always quilting related, but it is the month of October. And I would be remiss as a cancer survivor, not breast cancer, but as a cancer survivor, if I didn't mention that it's National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And it's time to do a little self-care, ladies and gentlemen. So tonight we got a little bit. I've got a block for you for that. And I've even worn my pink flannel. I know it's not really, I've got a fan going because it's like Yeah, it's over 70 degrees in this room, in this studio, with all the lights and stuff. So I have a fan going, which actually makes my shoulders a little cold. So I was able to get away with wearing my lightweight flannel. And this, I know it looks red, but that's really a really pretty raspberry pink. It's the only kind of pink top that I had that I could wear this evening in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I will tell you this, my dearest aunt, who has been going through cancer for some time, just contacted me a couple of weeks ago, and she is cancer free. And she's been going through this for years now, several years now. She's completely cancer free. They're working on helping to rebuild her bone and all now. But she's doing so much better. And you guys, she and her sister are my mother's two sisters, and they are literally mean the world to me. So getting that information from her was a relief and a joy, even more so than when I went through cancer myself. So all I want to say is get those tests. I know we don't like them. In the first meme, you're going to know what I'm talking about, but get them, folks. The earlier you can find that stuff out, the less the treatment will be for you in the long run, and you'll get better quicker. They have a much higher chance of getting you fully better. Just trust me, get the tests. It's how I found out about my cancer. I was a little sluggish about getting a special test that I have to have every year at my annual physical. I would go in for my regular pap test. We know, ladies know what that is, but there was another test they needed to do, which required a little bit of a biopsy because of a genetic condition that I have. And I hated getting it because it was always a little bit painful, and they don't drug you for it. But my doctor said, you're not going to get your meds if you don't take the test, Diana. This is the second year now. You didn't do it last year. You need to do it this year. And I did it, and I had cancer. So in the block video that I'm going to give you guys tonight, or show for you guys tonight, in there is my cancer journey, that story a little bit. It's not the whole thing. It's the whole demo, but there's that part of it in there. So I won't show the whole thing. Thank you, T. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, my Aunt Patty just means the absolute world to me. If it weren't for her and my Aunt Barbara, I would not be the person I am today. My mother and father are wonderful people, but my father was in the Navy when I was very young, so he was gone a lot, obviously. And my mother had to pick up slack, and she worked. It wasn't, that she didn't want to be able to stay home with me. She couldn't, because back when I was born, my parents were lucky to make $100 a month to live on, and they had a baby. And babies eat, right? We all eat when we're babies. And so my mother's two sisters, younger sisters, helped watch out for me. They helped care for me. They helped raise me. And they took me to school with them. I was the baby that they took to home ec class and learned how to do all those home ec-y things with babies. I was that one for them. So I would not be the person I am today without my aunts. And so I'm thrilled that she's doing better. You're twice after, perhaps not pleasant. Yeah, I bet I know what you're talking about, T. I'm so sorry. Don't forget to get your mammogram if you're older than 35 and insurance will pay for it. Get it whether insurance pays for it or not. There are ways to get it paid for. You just ask them. They will help you with that. Get your mammogram. And 35 and older, I know now it's 40 and older. Back in my day when I started, it was like 50 and older, but I've gotten them every year. And even though I did not have breast cancer, they have me get the 3D one every year just to be safe. And even though my cancer was 17 years ago now, you just want to be safe. Now, I get my test every January. So I'm on a rotation every January. So October may not be your once a year month, but if it isn't, go ahead and call and set it up for whatever month that is. So it's on your calendar. And if you don't have a regular month, then get set up and go do it this month, because you'll always be reminded in October, since it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Now, I'm going to show you guys the first meme. I had a good laugh because I just know this feeling, and I think some of you ladies do too. So here is our very first meme. Let's see. Yes, I did have my mammogram today. Why do you ask? I just thought that was so funny. Don't you guys feel that way after your mammogram? You just feel like the girls are just flat as a pancake, and that's the way they're going to be. I'm always so sore afterwards. It's not all that painful when I have it, but I'm always sore afterwards because they get really close up to make sure my chest wall is all good. So, but yeah, I saw that one today and I thought, oh yes, the ladies will understand that. Yes, CT, Kat. Yes, Kat, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's not pleasant. Alrighty, so here's one. Lest we only be thinking about ourselves, ladies, you know, men have breast tissue too, and they get breast cancer. So gentlemen, gentlemen, did you know that since men get have breast tissue, they can get breast cancer too? But it's, sorry, I can't read this. Let me bring up the bigger picture. I can't read it. But it's rare. Yes, it is rare. It is rare. However, gentlemen, if you, or ladies, if the guy in your life, if they start to feel odd, if you notice anything about their chest that looks different, like the skin dimpling in, or a vein bulging that isn't, because they're pumping iron and stuff, or they're, you accidentally touch them and they're unusually sore, have them go see their doctor. And gentlemen, I'm just going to say it, and ladies, you can remind your gentlemen of this. They should see the doctor for those gentleman tests that they do too for other kinds of cancer that gentlemen get. Might as well put it out there. Self-care, catching things early, it's the way to go. T, you lost 80 pounds since last year, and it actually hurts worse now. I kind of missed when I could sleep out there. T, I am right with you, my friend. That is part of the reason I think I hurt more too. I've lost probably 120 pounds since my surgery. My weight was always related to this medical condition I have. And they finally figured out there was one thing that they hadn't looked at in all the years that I struggled to keep my weight down. And when they figured it out, there's a very regular medicine that people take for something else that actually works to support my body. And as soon as I started taking it, I started losing like 10 pounds every 2 or 3 days. I had lost over 120 pounds and have kept it off. So I'm in my normal weight range and all that. But you're so right. When you lose weight, you lose fat tissue in your breasts, and it becomes more painful to get. So now I know all of my girlfriends who are smaller breasted, who have always complained about the pain of having a mammogram. I know what that feels like now. So I get you for sure. So anyway, folks, get those tests. I have one more meme for you, and it is kind of like a little battle cry, I think. I really, really liked this when I saw it. There we go. Supporting the fighters, admiring the survivors, honoring the taken, and never, ever giving up hope. That is so true. Cancer is not what it was 20 years ago, and it's not what it was 50 years ago or 100 years ago. They can get you better. And part of getting you better is finding those little cells that have gone rogue on you as early as possible. So please, for your own self-care, the one time I would tell everybody, be selfish. Go get yourself your mammograms or any other regular tests that you're told to get to look for cancer. There's all kinds of them. There's colonoscopy tests, or those tests that you can do at home now for that. There's the tests for gentlemen for testicular cancer, all that kind of stuff. Get those when they tell you you're supposed to get them. because it can save your life. It saved mine, and it saved my aunt's too. So, and hopefully, if any of you have gone through that, I honor you, because I know what kind of a journey that's been for you. So, alrighty, so that is our breast cancer awareness memes for this week. I hope you guys liked them. I hope you liked that first one. I just thought it was a little bit hilarious when I saw it. I'm like, that's just so true. Both have scans scheduled first week of November to rule out cancer. Good. That's great, Kathy. That's awesome. I hope that all goes well, and I'll say a little prayer that it does for you. So while we're talking about breast cancer this week, I have a new pattern for you. Now, those of you that were with us last year know that in the month of April, we did several star patterns, and one of them was the inspired star. Some people call this the Lemoyne star. Some people call it a hunter star. There's I read off in one of the videos, 8 or 9 names that this star gets called. But we decided that we would give it a whole new name and call it the inspired star. This star is so beloved amongst quilters, no matter what it's named. Quilters just adore this star. And I thought the idea of inspired star also could inspire us to get those checks and stuff that we need for our health. So this is our inspired star. Now this one is made a little bit differently than our 8-pointed star. This is a true 8-pointed star with the flying geese and the squares. Okay. But this one, I hadn't introduced flying geese units yet in the whole Build a Quilt world. And so in this one, you're only going to use half square triangles and squares. So it's super simple to make. The pattern comes with the squares because these are kind of an off size, but the square finishes at 15 by 15. And I think you'll absolutely love it when you make it. And you can make it in any color combinations you want. But I like it for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I actually picked a breast cancer fabric. In here, this one has some little ribbons and words and things. And then this is a pretty little daisy and a solid. This was a breast cancer awareness fabric that was out a couple of years ago. And so I used it for this particular one. This is the written pattern set. And in it, just like with all of them, if you did the inspired star in 2023, I have gone in and redone the entire pattern so it fits our normal pattern scenario now. You have all that original information. You have the fabric sheet. You have the fabric cut sheet on here. You've got the layout information in this one. And of course, the coloring sheet. So if you want to do other colors, you can. So all of that is available right now over at the website. It's called the Breast Cancer Awareness Inspired Star. And I hope you guys love it. It's a great star just to have in your library, but make yourself one in the pinks for breast cancer awareness. And just make yourself a little table topper with it. Just this one little thing, or a little wall hanging. And every October then, you have something to hang on the wall, and one of those little wire clip things that hold small quilt pieces. You can hang it up, and that can remind you, do I have my mammogram this month? Does my husband have any checks this month? Or a friend? Or do I need to schedule those and get those made? I don't harp on any of my friends about their health stuff except during the month of October, because it is so important to get our health checks for all these cancers and stuff. So I won't go any further about harping on all of you guys, but that's how it's important. And I hope you love it. And like I said, so the center here is simply a pinwheel. We've made those before. What's a pinwheel? Just 4 little old half square triangles. And then all of our star points are made with half square triangles as well. And then we have 4 little squares on the corners. Couldn't be easier. Now, I think I show you a different way to put it together in the video, because the video is from when I showed this last year with the old setup, but it has all the how-to in it. But in the new pattern, I have a new layout information for you, especially on this second row. Instead of doing 2 rows and making this a 4-row layout. We put the second row together a little bit differently, and it's just a 3-row layout that way. It's a little bit easier. So thank you, thank you, Kathy. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, it's one of my favorite. I have the star in a quilt where I just did a bunch of them in different color combinations. So it's scrappy in that way, but I love it. It's such a pretty star. And it's a great one if you're a beginner with Build a Quilt. So if we have folks with us tonight that are new, this is a really good one for you to start with, because you're making truly the 2 simplest Build a Quilt segments, the half square triangle and the square, the 2 simplest, easiest ones to figure out. So I will tell you how to get it and all when we're done here tonight. But that is our breast cancer awareness, the inspired star. Now, are y'all ready? Hi, Diana. Oh, I'm so glad you made it, Linda. Hi, Diana. That's me. Hi, Linda. I'm so glad you made it, dear. Welcome in for sure. I'm reading and I'm reading it out loud. It says, hi, Diana. So hi to myself. So I have the fabric sheet for you guys in both colorways. In fact, I have both colors of fabric with me here tonight. We're going to go over the whole thing. You need not write this down because this packet is free to everybody, okay? The pattern is going to come in 2 forms. It's going to come in a form for all the Quilt Lab subscribers who have all of these pieces already. And that written pattern, you'll only be getting the written pattern. That will be a free download that will go into the Quilt Lab subscriber only area. Okay, so when the patterns go live, your written pattern set will be in the your Quilt Lab subscriber only area on the website. For everyone else, the pattern will come out with the 5 blocks, the digital patterns for 10 by 10. So you won't be getting like the 3 sizes that these blocks come in. You'll be getting the 10 by 10s only, because that's all you need for the quilt, and the written instructions. And that will be in the regular shop at a small fee for you. Okay. That was the only way I could think of to do it fair, because the Quilt Lab subscribers have basically already purchased their patterns through their subscription. So tomorrow is Thursday. I am going to try and start writing the pattern pieces tomorrow. I could, as my grandmother used to say, I might could get this out to you guys by Sunday. If you want to cross your fingers and your toes and your legs and your arms and do the pretzel thing, this could come out for y'all by Sunday. Okay. I have my fabric cut. Hang on just one second. Okie dokie. So here are the 5 blocks. I'll go over those in a sec. But as you can see, I've got all of my pieces that's for 2 of the blocks. And in here, I've got it all cut for the other 3 blocks. Here are pretzel. Good, Kathy. See how long you can hold that position, my friend. So I'm all cut. And the sample quilt, as you can see, is going to be in that aqua color variation. That's color variation number 1. Let me just set that down there. So that's color variation 1. And then the other color variation are these colors. And we're going to go over those too, because I've now numbered them and all. So let me show you the blocks real quick. These are the block samples from the year when these were Quilt Lab blocks. The blooming star, the flower basket, the inside out block, points home, and the diamond in a cross. Now this diamond in a cross will be done in the 10 by 10 size. And Quilt Lab subscribers, you have that in the 10 by 10 size. It was something I did especially for you guys. So all of that will be in your area. And all of these in the 10 by 10 size will come in the pattern for everybody else. If you have all 5 of, if you've been buying your Quilt Lab blocks individually, that's cool. Thank you so much. And you have all 5 of these, please send me an email and I'll show you how to do that at the end. And I will send you just the written instructions because there won't be any reason for you to buy them again. Okay. So we'll work it like that. But I know from looking, I don't think there's anybody that has them all. All right. And I'm not going to start splitting up and sending somebody 2 and somebody, they're just all going to come in a package. Or if you're a Quilt Lab subscriber and you have them all, or if you have them all and you can, and you email me, then you'll get just the written that you need because you won't need the, digital files. That's what those are, digital files. All right, so this is the quilt. And so it's in that color variation 1. So when you go to download it, you're just looking for the fabric quantity sheet, year-end Quilt Along 2024. I haven't given this quilt a name yet. I can't settle on something. I will eventually. And so it tells you in here that this packet is only about the quantities of fabric that you're going to need and what fabric goes with what. So here is, now my colors on here, I realize now are a little bit off because my printer is going out of color. So these that looks like a blue. It should be the deep teal. But this is the color information sheet for color collection 1. So let's go through this. And I tell you on here, I give you a color number, and then the name of the fabric that I used. You do not have to use any of these fabrics. You might choose a whole nother color variation that you want to use that you love and you have the fabric already or whatever you want. That's great. You know, that's always cool for me. I love seeing what you guys come up with. If that is the case, just go through your colors and color code them according to the color numbers on here. Your lightest, your light aqua would be 1, your medium aqua, your dark aqua, that kind of thing, and number the colors that you have so that when you're cutting out, you know what you're cutting for. Okay. So this is the very first one in this. It is color number 1 in the pattern, in the written pattern. It will be referred to as color number 1. Okay, so how they're numbered in this sheet is how they will be numbered in the pattern. So color number 1 is Kimberbell Solid Royal Icing. Okay, Royal Icing. It's what I call kind of that candlelit color. It's not bright white. It's not cream. It's just that sweet spot. Okay, it's a little softer, which I like. So Kimberbell Solid, this is one of her silky solids. So it is a silky solid royal icing. And that is number 1, whether you're using color combination 1 or 2. Okay, guys? And then color number 2 is the light aqua. So what I've done is next to the color number, I tell you kind of what it is. It's a light aqua. And then I tell you what I use. So you're getting 3 pieces of information: the color number, the general color that it is, and then the specific fabric that I use. So number 2, light aqua, and I use the Kimberbell Basics Aqua Tufted Star. And that's this one. Just my new all-time favorite aqua fabric. I love it. I have to see if I can buy it by the bolts. That's how much I love it. So that's number 2 in color combination 1. Color combination or color number 3 is the medium aqua. And I used, on this one, I used a Kimberbell Basics 108-inch wide back because I could not find a polka dot that I liked better than this. So this is my medium aqua. Now I'm telling you on here, when we get to quantities, you're only going to buy half a yard of this if you buy 108 wide back. Okay, that's pretty much all you're going to need. If you use a regular 42 wide, I would get yourself a yard and a half. Okay, so that's the medium, this polka dot. This is called Aqua Small Dots Quilt Backs. Okay. And then color number 4 is the dark aqua, and this is one of the Kimberbell Silky Solids. It is called Caribbean Sea. Kimberbell's Silky Solid Caribbean Sea. Okay. And then the yellow, now this, I'll have to tell you the story in a minute. Color number 5 is the butter yellow. So it's not a bright yellow. It's not a super soft yellow. It's just that nice buttery yellow. And it is a Kimberbell Basics Yellow Swirl Floral. Yellow Swirl Floral. Now, when I ordered my fabric, for some reason, I was sent this and this, which is a whole different Kimberbell Floral Swirl. So my quilt is now, my fabric is cut, and I'm going to have to figure out, I think I can figure out how to make those two colors look intentional in the quilt. And so even though it's a goof, I can make it look intentional and it's going to look fine. And when I get to that point of putting those blocks together, I'll show you what I did. But this is the one you're looking for, the Kimberbell Basics Yellow Swirl Floral. Floral is the key to this one. I think this is just the swirl. This is the swirl with the florals, with the flowers. That's the key to that one. That's number 5. And then number 6 is a warm tomatoey red, kind of a creamy red. And it is, again, the Kimberbell Make Yourself at Home Red Tufted Star. So it is just like, it's just like the aqua one, but it's in the red. This is the only red in that. And you can see it's more of a creamy tomato red. It's not really a patriotic red, white, and blue kind of red. It's not really a Christmas red, although I would use this red in any of those things, but this is more of, I think of it more of a creamy red, a tomatoey red. And that's because really it's more than one color. These little tufted pieces are lighter than the background. That gives it that creamy color. So that is color collection number 1. Now here are your quantities, and that'll be on here. Color number 1, you're going to need 1.5 yards. Color number 2, 1/2 yard. Color number 3, 1/2 yard if you use 108-inch wide back, if you use what I showed you on that one. Color number 4, 1/2 yard. Color number 5, 1 yard. And color number 6, 1.5 yards. I have not put backing information on here because we always do backing at the end, because I will tell you what you need to do a full backing. Sometimes I decide to do a pieced backing, so we don't do that. We talk about that more when we come to the end. So that's color combination number 1. Your color combination for color combination 2 is this Kimberbell Silky Solids Reverie collection. It's not all of these. I'll show you the ones that it is, but they come from this collection. And you can just buy these Silky Solids by the yard, and then you're good. Any questions about color combination 1? Anybody have any questions at all about that? If you do, please pop them in your comments, and then I can answer those for you while everybody's here, because this is your night to ask those questions, really. I mean, you can ask them, of course, whenever you want, but this would be the night to ask, so anybody else who has that question can get their answer as well. Okay, so in this color collection number 2, the very first fabric, again, is this Kimberbell Royal Icing. Okay, that's a bigger piece than I showed you before. This is a fat quarter folded up. So that is the Royal Icing. Color number 2 is a light lavender kind of color, because it's more of a dusty color. When you're looking at these purpley colors, they're more dusty colored than true purple or lilac colors. So this is more of a lavender, and it is called Kimberbell Solid. They call it lilaceous, like luscious. So lilac luscious, I guess that's the way it is, but it's this color. This is the one. But that's what the Silky Solid. Does it need to be running yardage or will fat quarters work? Kathy, you should be able to use fat quarters. Just make sure you have enough of them to equal the yardage, okay? And you should be okay. Because I will tell you, you're going to have a little bit left over of all of these, okay? I never give you just exactly what you need, because if you're like me, and I did when I was cutting mine out, I made a goof on one of my squares. I had to go back and recut it. Luckily, I had a little bit of overage. So you'll have a little bit of overage, but if you use your fat quarters, as long as it meets these totals here, you should be fine. But that is the lilac-y luscious color in the Kimberbell Silky Solids. I love this. Now, I will not, I think I've said this before, I'm not making the whole quilt in this combination, but I will make a smaller wall hanging, maybe out of just 4 of the blocks or something, so that you can see what it looks like, because I think these colors are going to be beautiful together. Now, color number 3 is kind of a medium plum color, and it is the Kimberbell Solid, Silky Solid Fairy Tale Plum. That's the color for this one, and that's this one right here. So you can see this is the lighter, and this is. Now, if you choose to do this particular colorway, this Reverie collection comes in fat quarter bundles. So you could get them that way. Just make sure you get enough. It might be more expensive to do it that way, but just make sure you get enough. If you go to a fabric store in your local area and they carry these, ask them to cut them. If you want, ask them to cut them for you in those fat quarters. My fabric shop doesn't charge you to do that. Sometimes they charge you to do that, which I think is kind of, well, whatever. But mine don't. So ask, because there might be a slight charge for them to cut them in the fat quarters, but it might be worth it to you if you don't have a big enough place to cut full yardage. I used to do that all the time before I got a big cutting table and all that. I would have them cut them down like in half yard sections and stuff for me, or quarter yards, because it was easier. Linda, I have 2 packs of Riley Blake honeybees and flower please. There are 10-inch stackers, 42 inches. 2 stackers will not be enough, Linda. It won't be enough, even if you do it all patchworky with just those fabrics and mix and match them, which will be beautiful. 2 stackers are probably not going to be enough, because you need a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5.5 yards of fabric for the top. Okay. So, and with 2 10-inch, you probably have 2 yards of fabric there. So you would need probably 5 of them to do them that way. Sorry, I'm new to this and have no idea if these will work. No problem, Linda. That's not a problem. And that's a great question. A 10 by 10 layer cake, which is what it sounds like you have, is about 1 yard of fabric. Okay. So you need 5.5. So in total, you would need a total of 6 of them in that combination. Then when you go to start cutting it out, because you're not going to have enough within those 6 stackers to make your blocks exactly the same each time. So I would choose out a couple of them for each block and use those fabrics for the blocks. For like, I would choose maybe 4 of the fabrics in the stackers for the first block, 4 different ones for the second block, and so on. And you should be able to work that out and have enough fabric that way. And then yours is going to be all the same colorways, but your 5 different blocks in the quilt will have a different combination of the fabrics from that collection. It'll be beautiful that way. I've done quilts that way before, and it's gorgeous. Okay. When you get started, Linda, if you have more questions about that, just contact me and I'll help you out with that. Alrighty, so moving on, we've done color 3. Color 4 is the dark plum, and this is Kimberbell Silky Solid Wild Plum. This is a wild plum. It's the dark one. So there's the medium, and there's the light. These 3 colors in this collection will take the place of the 3 aqua colors in the first collection, okay? That's how I did it. I chose the plums to use in this collection rather than some of there wasn't enough of the other ones in a light, medium, and dark to do a different colorway. So I chose the plums, which I think are beautiful. Color number 5 is called, is a golden color, and it is called the Kimberbell Silky Solid Golden Hour. Now, there are 2 yellows in here. One is a very light yellow. That would be beautiful as your buttery yellow if you didn't want to use the other Kimberbell. If you wanted a solid, you could use that. But this is the golden hour. That is your yellow for this combination, okay? Really pretty. Super pretty. Very warm. These colors are deep and rich and warm. The color combination 1 is really very spring and summer color oriented. This one is much more warm and deep fall, winter. And so I figured through one of them, you guys should be able to find a colorway that fits your mood for now. I don't always, I mean, you know, I'm doing the combination 1 just because I love those colors. I don't care what kind of time of year it is. All right. And number 6 is our last one for this combination. And it is a mid-gray color. I know it's kind of odd, but it looks beautiful with this. And this is Kimberbell Silky Solid Silver Moon. Silver Moon. I'm not always wild about grays, but this is really pretty. It's a really pretty gray. And so that is color number 6. Again, same yardage as with combination 1. However, this is the one thing I made a goof here. On color number 3, which is this medium plum, the fairy tale plum, I still have on here 1/2 yard of the 108 wide fabric. This is a regular width, so I would get 1.5 yards of this. So when you get that, if you're going to do combination 2 in a 42-inch width fabric, get yourself 1.5 yards of it, okay? And then you should be fine. So these are the colors for this second combination. Let me put them kind of in order here, and I'll hold them up so they look so pretty together. I'm kind of thinking I should have I just don't have a full quilt in this color combination. And I'm thinking right now, I might want to go ahead and do mine in this color combination. I really love it. That is color combination 2. These are also all solids in this combination, if you notice. The other ones, except for the royal icing, which is this one, it was the only solid. Everything else was a small print. I love those small prints because they add movement and texture to your quilt. And I'm not overly wild typically about doing only solids, but this is really a beautiful combination. I'm thinking I might want to do this one. I'm definitely going to do it a smaller wall hanging piece in that because it's really beautiful. And I don't want to have to order more fabric. I've got enough that I can do a smaller wall hanging in it. Either way you go, isn't it a nice gray, Kathy? I agree. There's another gray in here too. There is a taupe, and then actually this taupe is the lighter gray. So this is the lighter gray, but it just didn't look right with those deeper colors because it looks more taupe, but this is one of the other colors in that Reverie collection, and it looks beautiful with this. With this, it really looks taupe rather than gray. So you've got other colors in this collection still. If you get the Fat Quarter collections, you've got another kind of a deeper rusty color. You've got those colors. So this is a beautiful collection of silky solids, and they're perfect for this time of year, for fall and winter for sure. So that is your 2 color combinations and the quantities, okay? And to get those, this is free to everybody so that you can start getting your fabric. You just want to go to the website, mybuildaquilt.com. Okay. At that website, you can pick this up. This is a free download, and you can pick this up. This is a just a small fee for this block set. And in a little bit, I'm going to show you how you can get it for even less. So, yay. And did I do a question of the week? Hang on. Let me fix the question of the week thing. Forgot to type it in. Let me save it. All right. So I've got the question of the week for us. So this is the color combination that you're going to see the sample in. And then you'll see a smaller sample in this so that you can kind of see them both. Now, I figure, let me get my calendar here. Hang on. I've got my calendar here. Let's look at dates for a minute, because I don't want to start this before you guys feel comfortable starting it. I mean, I would like to get it started. Well, next week is the last week of the month. So we're starting in November for sure. I want to start before Thanksgiving. If I say we're going to start this on the 11th of November, which isn't that Veterans Day? Yes, that's Veterans Day. If I say we're going to start this on November 11th, does that work for everybody? Does that give you enough time to get your fabric? Because it sounds like a few of you have fabric to start or know what you're going to do. And some of you I know want to get it. What do you think? Please comment in the comments so that I know. And while we are talking about dates, let me just tell you this. Wednesday, November 6th, we will not have a Wednesday workshop, okay, on the 6th. However, that Friday on the 8th, we will have a coffee and quilt chat, usually around between 11 and 11:30. So that's our other live. And I will be telling you about that here in a moment. I have something on the 6th, and so I can't do the Wednesday workshop that night, but I don't want us to do nothing that week. So I will do a coffee quilt chat that week on Friday, and it's during the daytime. Now, let me say this about coffee and quilt chat on Fridays. Typically, it's just kind of a review and maybe a few things if I have a few new things. It never runs really more than 30-ish minutes, sometimes 20-ish minutes. But you guys seem to love it. I mean, a lot of you pop on, and I don't even announce them. I just go out there and do them. But a lot of you come on. A lot of you are watching. And I've started getting some emails asking, will I start doing them and announcing them every week? The answer is no. Sorry. I can't do them every single Friday because I have a big class I do in the afternoons on Friday for something else. But in the new year, starting in January of 2025, I will be doing, and it will be announced and it will be all planned. It won't just be spur of the moment, so you'll know. I will be doing coffee and quilt chat on Fridays at 11:30 a.m. 2 Fridays a month. Okay, so we'll have all of our Wednesday workshops, and we'll now have 2 coffee and quilt chats on Fridays. That sound good to you guys? Do you guys like that? I hope you do. I hope all of you that have emailed me like that idea. And when we do it on the 8th, hopefully I will have a better idea of which Fridays in the month. I'm thinking right now it's going to be the 2nd and 3rd Fridays of the month. but I have to verify some scheduling stuff first. And then I will let you know. And it'll start around 11:30 on those Fridays for sure. And we'll have a good time. And it'll be more than just the review of Friday. Okay, so it will be a little bit more than that. I don't want it only to be a review for you guys. So nothing on the 6th of November. Coffee and Quilt Chat that Friday on the 8th, though, for sure, to make up for that. Now, anybody, so Kathy, you're saying good for you. Is that for the 11th to start the quilt? I guess I should say Wednesday the 13th, not the 11th. That's a Monday, because we'll be talking about this and doing this during Wednesday workshop. So Wednesday the 13th of November, that's when we're going to start. Okay. That gives you the rest of this week, all of next week, and all of the week after, and half of the week after that to get your fabric. I hope if you don't have it by then, guys, if you have to wait a little bit longer, I know sometimes you got to plan that into the budget and all, me too. Then just follow along. You know, the videos will always be out here for you, the replay videos, and just kind of catch up and do it in your own pace. You are never required to do it exactly when I'm doing it live or when I put out the video. You guys know that. So great. Works for Kathy, works for Rose. That's awesome. Thank you, ladies. So the Quilt Along will start. And like I said, I'm hoping this Sunday to have the quilt patterns out for you. I should be able to do it by Sunday. I should be able to without any problem. And for those of you that are early birds, last year when I put out the Quilt Along stuff, I put it out on one day, and one gal had it done 2 weeks later when we were only on the second square. So I know some of you like to work ahead. That's cool too. It'll be pretty straightforward. You've done these blocks if you've been doing the Quilt Lab blocks with us throughout the year. So if you do that, that's fine too. You don't have to follow my time frame for sure. All righty. All right. So we're almost done. Let me get you now the question of the week. And whoever wins the question of the week is going to win a free copy of our Breast Cancer Awareness Inspired Star Block. Let me get to the question. Where is it? There we go. All right. So this one is simple. Question of the week. What color combo from the two that we talked about do you think you'll use for your quilt? And if it's neither, you can say neither. I've got something I want, because it sounds like we have folks that do. Or if you've chosen one or the other from looking at the fabrics earlier, when does the Quilt Along end? Ruth, the Quilt Along will end when we're done. I don't believe in having a really set time. We're going to be doing it. It should take us no more than 5 or 6 weeks. But if it takes us a 7th week, that's fine by me. I don't like to put a permanent end, because I don't like to say, you have to get this done this week, you have to get this done this week, and have people get frustrated and then not finish their quilt. Okay. So, but it'll probably be a 5 or 6. It's minimum. It will be 5 weeks. But I'm thinking, well, no, I'm going to say minimum. It's going to be 6 weeks. And maybe 7 if we need that extra week. Riley Blake honeybees. So Linda's doing Riley Blake honeybees. You like that date? Great. You like the idea of it not being and I have a fabric store in my sewing room, so I will try to reduce your stash. Great, Rose. That's fantastic. I think this quilt will be beautiful if you do it scrappy, or if you kind of like Linda's doing. If you have a collection of fabric, but you don't quite have enough of everything for each thing, but you can kind of work the collection all together, I think that'll be simply gorgeous. Anybody else? We'll let that question sit up there. What's your combo? Anybody going to do these combos? You don't have to, you know that. But what's your combo? That's our question of the week. And whoever will win will get the Inspired Star, the Breast Cancer Awareness Inspired Star pattern as their prize. Alrighty. Let's see. Do I have anything else? Okay, so while we're waiting for you to continue answering your questions, probably shop your grunge stash. Ooh, you have a grunge stash, Kathy? What's a grunge stash? Ooh, that's intriguing. You'll have to tell us what your grunge. Like when I think grunge, I think of my old. Dave and I lived in Seattle when grunge came about. So I always think flannel when I think grunge because that's what everybody wore during the grunge craze. Flannel and sock hats. That's what we all wore. And tattered jeans. I didn't. It was never really my thing, but I do like a nice warm flannel occasionally. Colors are the hardest for you. Let's see. I'm just seeing you didn't. Colors are hard for you, Ruth. Then choose one of the two collections that I've given here for you because it's all laid out for you. Don't try to mix and match stuff if it's only going to give you a headache. Or if you don't have these exact fabrics, choose one of these color combinations and choose fabrics in those colors. You don't have to use these fabrics, but choose them in one of these two colors and then make your quilt. And I think that'll be easier for you if you have those problems. Alrighty, so that's our question of the week. I'm gonna, hang on, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and take that down and you can keep answering, but I have a spooktacular coupon for everybody this week. The coupon is Spooktacular 30. It runs today through the 29th of October. You get 30% off of any one item at the website, okay? So that could be the basic combo set, which we're going to be using next year a lot. It could be 30% off of our new inspired star block. It could be 30% off any of our blocks or patterns or anything like that in it. So 30% off one item. The coupon is good from now until the 29th. It's Spooktacular 30. Spooktacular. I'll put that coupon code in the description in case you forget it. I'll put it in there for you guys. But that is the coupon code. What do we have? A small one garage basic gray. Oh, your motor grunge, your basic gray. Oh, I get you. Some of my absolute, I'm going to take that down. Some of my absolute favorite fabric in the world is, I know it's basic gray for Moda, but I just call it Moda grunge. Probably I should give basic gray their props, right? But I love that stuff. For someone who doesn't like solids and you don't necessarily want to do the tiny prints, use Moda grunge, the basic gray Moda grunge. Oh, it's gorgeous. I love it too. Kathy, I can't wait. If you're going to use that fabric, I can't wait to see how your quilt turns out. It will be spectacular for sure. All right, everybody, we are done for tonight. So let me go ahead and pick a winner. Kathy Johnson. Kathy, you're our winner for tonight with your grunge fabric. And so, Kathy, send me your email address at the, or any of you who need to contact me can contact me at this email. Send me your email, Kathy. I'll send you the pattern tomorrow, okay? And then you can use your coupon for something else. So support@sewuncommon.com. Congratulations, Kathy. And ladies, it sounds like you all are getting little ideas for your quilt. I think that's great. Truly, if any of you have any problems or any concerns or want to pick fabrics and send me a picture, you know I'm always here and available to look at those for you and help you out. And I'll be honest with you, if something doesn't quite go, but all the others do, I'll say, maybe you want to replace that one. Everything else goes. Or I might just say it's all fantastic, which typically it is, because y'all don't give yourself enough credit. You all know how to dress yourselves. And so you all know how to put colors together since you were little kids. So give yourself more credit. I know you'll do a great job. But if you truly have a problem, choose one of the pre-done collections, or at least choose one of those collections and then pick fabrics that match those colors in any fabric you want. And you'll get something that'll go together and look beautiful. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for our Wednesday Night Live. I always love being with you guys. It's always my favorite night of the week. Again, here's the website, mybuildaquilt.com. Here again is the email, support@sewincommon.com if you need to contact me. Kathy, send me your info. Thank you all so much. Oh, you know what I forgot to do tonight? I forgot to share T's quilt. I have the pictures. Oh, T, I do apologize. You sent me those. You guys, it's gorgeous. So I'm saving it, and you're going to see it next week. You're going to see T's quilt next week. So if for no other reason, mark your calendars for next week's Wednesday workshop, because you're going to see T's string piecing quilt all done. It's bound, it's quilted, it's fantastic. Looks even better than I thought it was going to look, to be honest. T, it's just gorgeous. Those colors were gorgeous. So let's see. We have another comment. Let me look. Flip over. There we go. You're very welcome, Kathy. You're very, very welcome. Until next time, everybody, as a reminder, please go and get your mammograms or any other tests that you might need to get. And until next week, everybody, quilt life beautiful. Bye for now.